Hi there, my name's Doug Brown and I head up the SAP HCM Time Management team within EPI-USE UK. I've been implementing SAP in the UK and Europe for more than 16 years, with the last 10 years concentrating on SAP HCM and time management solutions and implementations. Today I would like to take you through one of the most recent improvements that SAP have released in the time management area of SAP HCM. The first improvement I'm going to take you through is called the Work Schedule Finder. In my experience, and this has been reflected by the clients I have worked with over the years, users of SAP HCM Time Management face challenges representing employees' planned working time in SAP HCM. The mechanism for representing planned working time in HCM is the Work Schedule rule, and this is assigned to employees via Infotype 7 planned working time. The type of challenges in the main come from the fact that the work schedule and the discrete components of configuration that go towards building a schedule are based on configuration that must be specified, built, tested and moved through your development, QA and production instances before it can finally be assigned to the right employee at the right time. This can be a time-consuming task, but if approached in the right manner, where a focus on design and future-proofing provides the accurate planned working time that the system needs in order to accurately provide accurate absence reporting and statistics, deduct the correct amount of entitlement from absence quotas, like annual leave, calculate used and remaining occupational and statutory entitlement, like sickness, maternity, and lastly calculations like accruals and balances and time evaluation. A particular issue faced by end users, like HR administrators, occurs when your work schedule inventory increases over time and then may contain duplicates or the naming conventions have not been followed consistently. We all know the pressures of operating in a busy and operational environment where things need to be done quickly and sometimes shortcuts can be taken. However, this can lead to instances where the end user really struggles to find and assign the correct work schedule rule to an employee within the likes of PA30 or probably more commonly PA40. All they have to go on is an 8-character name of the schedule and a longer description. The longer description not really being a component that can be searched on easily or consistently. They need to know the working pattern, the planned hours in each day, the start and end time of each day, and the included breaks in each day, including whether they're paid or unpaid. It's this sort of challenge that the Work Schedule Finder seeks to address. Before we look at the Work Schedule Finder, I'll give you a high-level overview of the configuration it contributes towards a defined work schedule rule. When designing and building work schedules as part of an SAP HCM implementation, there's a number of configuration elements that all contribute to the required work schedule rules. First, there's the distinct break schedules. This means each distinct break period that will be required within a schedule needs to be defined in configuration for allocation in the next step of the configuration. Next is the configuration of the daily work schedule. This area of configuration needs to be maintained to include each individual instance of the required shifts that will later be built into a required working pattern. It contains a defined start and end times of each shift, and references any of the previously defined break schedules discussed in the last step. The daily work schedules are now defined in a period work schedule. Period work schedules are maintained for each individual working pattern. The duration of a single line of a period work schedule is 7 days, but additional lines can be maintained in the case of multi-week working patterns like 4 on 4 off. Note that no reference position has been mentioned in respect to the period work schedules yet, since this is carried out in the next step of configuration, the work schedule rule. The work schedule rule is the element of configuration that brings all the previous configuration elements and more together. Firstly, the work schedule rule is defined by the required combination of groupings, including personnel sub-area grouping for work schedules, employee subgroup grouping for work schedules, and then by the defined public holiday calendar that the schedule should reference. Next, the work schedule key is defined. We'll come back to this 8-character key in a moment. It is this key that uniquely identifies a work schedule rule when selecting a schedule in Infotype 7. The work schedule rule is then further defined by assigning the period work schedule that you'll remember is the combination of the preceding break schedules, daily work schedules, into a defined pattern. The next thing to define in the work schedule is the start position, based on a key date that tells the system at what point in the period work schedule to start. For instance, if the schedule should begin on, say, Monday the 11th of November with the first position in the period work schedule, then this date is entered and position 1 is defined. This ensures the schedule will repeat each week based on starting with the first position of a defined period work schedule on each Monday. Now we've mentioned the 8-character work schedule rule key that uniquely identifies the work schedules. In implementations I've been involved with, I've always recommended a naming convention to be built into this 8-character key. The reasons for this was to aid in the maintenance and searchability of the defined schedules in an area. Often try to encode details like the weekly working hours, like 35, 37, how many working days, 4 or 5, and then a sequential number, sometimes including a reference to the start time. This provided, prior to this new improvement of being able to search for work schedules, the ability to search for specific work schedules based on this naming convention. However, even this, with the best will in the world, can be difficult when the amount of schedules a client requires increases over time. Additional information can also be included in the description, but again, this is not easily searchable. This now takes us to the new SAP improvement in being able to search for work schedules. This improvement is available as an individual SAP note. Access to SAP support portal is required, numbered 1795844. This note is also included in Support Pack 95 for ECC 6 and 61 for ECC 6.4, that's EHP4. These were released in May of 2013. Let's look at the basics of the improvement. The improvement adds a new button to the InfoType 7 screen with the label WSR Finder, Work Schedule Rule Finder. When this button is selected, a pop-up screen is provided that allows you to now search for specific work schedules based on a number of parameters. It should be noted that the schedules that are queried are directly related to the selected employee's specific PSG, ESG and public holiday calendar groupings. In other words, the schedules that are relevant to this specific employee. The criteria that can be used when searching for a schedule is based on the specific working pattern that's defined within a schedule. It allows the parameters to be entered in each required day and are as follows. Work start. This is the start time of each specific day entered on the screen, like Monday with a 9 AM start. Next we have start plus minus. This is a tolerance defined in minutes that tells the system to return schedules that meet the defined start time plus or minus that required tolerance. For example, you could look for schedules on a Monday with a 9 AM start with a 30-minute tolerance that will then return schedules where the Monday has a start time between 8:30 and 9:30. The end of the work, the end time of each specific day entered on the screen, for instance Monday with a 5 PM end time. And again we have an end plus minus tolerance defined in minutes that tells the system to return schedules that meet that defined end time plus or minus the required tolerance. For example, schedules on a Monday with a 5 PM end time with a 30-minute tolerance will return schedules where the Monday has an end time between 4:30 and 5:30 PM. The last criteria allows for a more general search in that you can simply define the amount of planned working hours in each day, and then the system will return all work schedules who meet that required pattern. This can also be defined in combination with the start and end times to take breaks, paid and unpaid, into account. Let's look at an example of the Work Schedule Finder in action. I'll now select an employee that I'm interested in and create a new work schedule rule from the 11th of November 2013. Here you can see the Work Schedule Finder button is available, and I press this to continue. I'm now populating the screen to look for a schedule that has a planned working time of 7 hours in each day from Monday to Friday. Now I execute the search. Now I can see that I still have many schedules to pick from. Note these schedules also have a defined naming convention built into the key with supporting information in the description that I talked about earlier. In this example, the description gives details about the break duration and whether it's paid or unpaid. But now I'll refine the search to only show me the schedules that start at 9 AM. You can now see the list is dramatically reduced when I re-execute the search. Let's demonstrate the tolerance functionality. I'll enter 30-minute tolerance in the start time and re-execute the search. Now we can see the returned list has increased, again based on that criteria. The example we've looked at here is for where the pattern that we've defined is the same for each week. But note that you can also increase the amount of weeks to be searched for where patterns that recur over a greater period, for instance like every 4 weeks, we can look for that as well. But this search capability can only support up to 5 weeks recurring patterns. Anyway, when I've found the schedule that I'm looking for, I simply select it, confirm by selecting the green tick, and this populates the work schedule rule field in InfoType 7, and then InfoType can be saved. Now, just to give you a brief overview of what you need to do to apply this SAP note to achieve the functionality. The preferred approach would be via the application of the specific support pack. You may already be on it. Otherwise, you may have to contact your SAP Basis support team to apply that specific note that we've mentioned. There's a number of manual steps that need to be carried out that are defined within the note to enable this functionality. You need to create the GUI status and GUI title screen for the O100 and O200 screens in InfoType 7. This is done through SE80, and I'd advise that a Basis or NetWeaver resource checks this. However, in my experience, the application of the note included this step, so all I had to simply do was to check the screen status and title screen to check that they were included and then continue. If any customization in InfoType 7 screens in your instance has been carried out, then I suggest a review of these screens is carried out to ensure the new button can be included where you need it. So in closing, I hope this short video has provided you with some helpful information on how to improve your organisation's management and searching of work schedules with this SAP improvement. At EPI-USE, we've got significant experience in this area and possess a number of unique methods to help you improve and simplify the management of your work schedules within your system. So if you'd like to know more about this specific improvement or discuss anything on the wider work schedules or time management solution that you currently are using, then I'd be more than happy to speak to you. Please see my contact details here and feel free to give me a call at any time. Thanks for watching and goodbye.